Funding for this program is made possible by the Pittsburgh Foundation. Thank you.
Hey Dad, how you doing?
Chuck's gonna be hanging out.
Yeah. In some cases he can't be a dad from prison, but he calls, make sure I'm doing okay.
What kind of point guard do you want to be? Score first or pass first?
I just want to be like all around. I like how he calls mostly every day, but if he was out, I'll be able to like talk to him way more.
Okay, everybody.
I think that the children of incarcerated people are a forgotten generation.
He was gone during really pivotal moments in my life.
I just thought that my whole family was going to be like ripped apart because of his absence.
I just see cops like taking him away, and I was like wondering like what is happening? I was just scared out of my mind.
You bullied me. Why you bully? It makes me like really sad that I don't get to see her every day.
It means trauma, it means suffering, it means despair, it means poverty for many families. These children tell us that they feel like they're serving time too.
Good morning.
Okay, you ready?
Keandre McCaskill and his grandmother were up early this winter morning to board a bus that would take them to prison. The bus is headed to the state prison in Forest County. It makes for a long day, but Keandre and his grandmother make the trip most every month to visit Keandre's father.
Just that time spending with him, getting to talk to him, getting to be there with him.
Jamar McCaskill is serving life in prison with no chance of parole for a homicide he committed when he was in his early 20s. Keandre has no memory of his dad on the outside because he and his siblings were babies when their dad went away.
It's impacted me a lot because I don't have that dad role all the time to like help me with certain stuff.
Keandre is not alone, and the numbers are sobering. Nationwide, as many as 2 million minor children have at least one parent who is incarcerated. Most of the children are 13 or younger. 45% of these children are African American, 21% are Hispanic, 28% are white. Almost all live in poverty. The number of children has grown as the prison population has grown, more than quadrupling nationwide since 1980.
Globally, we need to look at reducing the incarcerated population and really focus in on what are we trying to accomplish by incarcerating people.
The question is at the leading edge of overall prison reform. Too many children are suffering because too many adults are locked up.
Nonviolent crimes, for failure to pay fines, for failure to pay child support, and they leave behind them children who love them and have a deep bond with them.
Too few get to keep that bond with prison contact visits. At last count, more than 80,000 children in Pennsylvania have a parent who is incarcerated, enough to put a child in every seat in Heinz Field, with thousands more left standing. Keandre is among the children whose parents are at correctional facilities that provide contact family visits. Today, he will spend several hours with his dad in a friendly, non-threatening room. Our cameras were not allowed inside, But father and son would enjoy something close to a normal day together.
When I walk in and I see him, I'll get happy and sit there, give him a hug, and talk to him. When I gotta leave, I don't want to leave, of course. Like, I will want to spend some more time with him, because a couple hours or whatever, it's not enough.
You ever mad at him?
There's no reason to be mad at him. It's not like he just doesn't care about us or nothing like that. Like, he still talks to us. Even though he's not here, he'll make me stuff. Like, he'll draw pictures for me. He made me a pillow. He still has fun with us.
Incarceration drains families that are already struggling. One study estimates that the incarceration of a parent costs the family at least $13,000 for travel and phone calls, as well as from lost income or child support.
Court fines and fees, telephone surcharges. I mean, trying to maintain any contact with a parent who's often serving time, at the other end of the state is just a huge burden for families.
Hello?
Keandre's dad calls from prison almost every day.
Hey, Dad, how you doing?
To check in on his son's life and to offer advice from far away, such as how to pay for a date with a girlfriend.
Where you plan on taking her?
Probably to the movies by my house, like by the mall.
Always try to keep some money on. Don't never spend it all.
Yeah.
The details keep them connected. And some things are so important, they need to be written down in a letter home.
I've been away from my kids for 14 years, and it has been really hard. I think that little statement, it's been hard for all of us. On my granddad, my grandma, all his kids, because he's not here.
Let's try the same thing, exactly the same thing. I really gotta get out. 10s on both of those outs. Ready? And 1.
I really gotta get out. I can't.
Olivia Allison spends her Saturdays working to open up her singing voice.
Use your lips, teeth, and tongue, but don't drop your jaw. Your jaw doesn't need to be involved.
She's getting her voice in shape to perform in her high school musical Sister Act at Pittsburgh Kappa.
It's really fun. I play a nun, and I'm also in a bunch of the dance numbers.
Raise your heart, raise your soul. You girls are going to be fabulous. Praise God, glory.
This performance is especially important for Olivia. She has invited her father to closing night. He has been in and out of jail since she was small. Do you think he'll come?
I'm not sure. I'm hoping. I know that he wants to, but I don't know if he's going to be well enough to come, if that makes sense.
It would be the first time Olivia has seen him in several years. She remembers the father she used to have.
So I think is where I got my love for sports and stuff, because we'd always go out in the yard and throw balls and do stuff like that.
But things began to fall apart.
I was at dance one day and he's supposed to pick me up and he never came. So it's now one of my biggest fears is my mom not being on time to pick me up somewhere.
For the past decade, mental health and drug problems took Ed Allison down a path into jail and out of his daughter's life. His absence brought her a sense of shame.
But I think when I was little, I was scared that people are going to see me as a bad person because of my father. People think that everyone that goes to jail is a criminal, which is true, but my dad didn't do anything to hurt other physical people. He hurt himself and his family, but he didn't physically hurt anyone else.
Our job is to make sure that children understand that they are not the mistake their parents made.
Any absence of a parent is hard enough, but this kind of absence doubles the trauma.
When you think about a child who may have lost a parent through death or the parent has been deployed for military service, And then our kids, their experience is distinguished from other children because there's the element of shame and societal stigma.
I thought that no one wanted to be my friend because of the hardship. Uno.
She was not doing well in school, her behavior changed, and not like her go-getter self.
Counseling helped, as has an openness to talk about her father's struggles and his mistakes.
It's just hard because he really was this man that was, you know, a great dad and those things, and just to hear her talk about some of it is it's tough. I think it's more what she just doesn't have now. You know, as much as I try to provide what I can for her, I still know that she's longing for that relationship.
What would it mean to you if he would come and see you perform?
I think that for me, when he would come, he would always leave because he got bad again. So I think that maybe him coming is like a way of him saying, like, I'm trying to get better.
And if he doesn't, if he says he's going to come and he doesn't show up?
I wouldn't be shocked because he has done it so many times in the past, so I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't, but I'm hoping he would.
Olivia's father did not come to see her on stage that night, missing another chance for connection.
I had some health issues. I struggle with some mental illness issues.
Weeks after the performance, Ed Allison offered this gesture to Olivia, hoping she would hear and understand.
And she needs to know that I do love her every day, but until I can show through action only, she is incredible. And hopefully someday I can get back in her life.
I don't have much hope that he's gonna be back in my life forever, but like with musical, I have hope that he'll come in and out.
Shame isn't stopping her anymore. Olivia is sharing her story of being the child of an incarcerated parent. Although it has hurt, the absence of her father has given her something to push against.
I don't think I would have been as successful if this didn't happen to me, so I'm grateful that I am where I am today, but I also think that my dad, his absence pushed me to become a better version of myself.
There's a room in the Allegheny County Jail that doesn't look or sound like a jail at all. This room is full of cheerful colors and toys and happy faces. It is here where every few weeks, inmates get to spend the day with their children with no glass walls or iron bars standing between them.
There's a frog in the hole and a log in the bottom of the lake.
Brad Doffner counts the days until his little boy comes to visit.
It keeps me connected with him. Like there was one point where my girlfriend actually said he went to a parenting class, I believe, and he called the instructor Daddy. That broke my heart. Because I want to be a dad. I want to be that special someone in his life, the protector, the provider.
Like the other inmates, he gets one contact visit per month, and he must earn it by attending parenting classes.
My heart breaks for them because if we do not change our correctional system, that there is in reach for children to be able to see their parent, to touch their parent, and that parent to be able to be involved in their children's lives, we are going to have a generation that will repeat and come back in here again.
Can you put him back on?
The research is not the best around children and their likelihood for following their parents' footsteps behind bars.
The best research puts the risk of intergenerational incarceration at between 30% and 70%. No matter the numbers, there is little doubt that the trauma flows down from parent to child. Josh Roman is living this. He is in jail, and his mother is in prison too, and was never in his life. He understands what these children are facing.
people look at them different because their dads are in trouble or their dads made a mistake that they shouldn't have made. And then as soon as they say, well, my dad's away, and then people find out where, oh, well, they're going to grow up and be just like their dad.
Contact visits represent a new way of thinking about incarceration.
When I first came on the bench, I was one of those judges who did not think it was appropriate for children to visit parents in correctional facilities, that it would be scary and traumatic. I realized that was wrong, that children really need to keep that bond and connection with the parent.
A person in jail does not automatically lose the right to parent, guide, and make decisions for their child. But the system doesn't make it easy. Phone calls are expensive, and this jail, like many others, does not allow incoming letters.
It is a wonderful feeling to look forward to this day for them to come.
Brittany Weimer's daughters visit her twice a month. A third child, a much younger son, stayed behind this time.
What are your concerns for all your children while you're here?
Mainly with Angela, I worry that, the group home might be a little harsh on her right now. I lost out on a year of their lives for some stupid mistake I did, so it's hard, but they're good kids and hopefully they won't end up like I did.
And the worry goes both ways.
When I see some stuff on the news about Allegheny County Jail, or if I find out the jail's on lockdown.
Angela was among the oldest children visiting this day. As some become teenagers, they've had enough.
It's this sense of wanting to be done with the suffering, just tired of suffering, growing numb to the pain. And, some of that pain turns into anger because they're frustrated.
And yet, even these few spare hours are good for the children and their parents because it provides something close to normal family life.
Being able to get a hug actually makes you feel like somebody cares.
It makes me really sad that I don't get to see her every day, but honestly, I feel like she's getting a lot of help here, and that makes me happy.
Big hug. Big hug.
Bye, y'all. Bye,
This one, I like this one.
Photography is helping these teens to see the world in a new way.
Oh my God, I love it. That's my leg.
Tanaya's father was in jail for most of her growing up years. She shares that experience with her friends at Amachi, a Pittsburgh nonprofit that helps children overcome the challenges of having a parent who is incarcerated.
You can show whatever feeling you want to, it could be happy, sad, anything you want. He first kind of moved out of my life when I was 2, but he went in jail when I was 7 or 8.
You can do great things with a good amount of empowerment.
We could talk about it here, and we can talk about our similarities and our situation and our differences.
Amachi is among few places working specifically to help children of prisoners. Through art projects and mentorship, they learn they have an identity and power beyond the mistakes their parents have made.
It's difficult for children to separate who they are from the experiences of their family. But it can be done. We're doing it every day. We emphasize that they must define themselves by the decisions they make in their lives, by the content of their character.
Amachi children have spoken to lawmakers about their challenges and are reaching back to help younger kids.
And all of a sudden, instead of seeing themselves as the child of a criminal, of a prisoner, they see themselves as an educator.
I feel bad, honestly, looking back at this picture and looking at the little girl I was.
Jehana Lipscomb's father went away when she was small, serving jail terms 3 times, each for a year or more.
I think the worst part about not having my dad around was honestly when I got bullied. I couldn't say, I'm gonna get my dad on you. Or on Take Your Father to School Day, I didn't have a dad to take on Father's Day.
Jehana came to Amachi when she was 17, and now she mentors others here.
and it just meant a lot for me, and it helped.
Offering wisdom and a perspective that comes from her own struggles.
At first, I genuinely thought he was gone just because I wasn't a good daughter.
Her childhood followed a path that is all too common among children of prisoners. There were financial struggles.
And in my 19 years, I've lived in 18 homes. So we moved around a lot. And a lot of it was because my dad wasn't there to provide any stability for us.
There were family secrets and denial.
Incarceration, it was something that we honestly never talked about. So it was a period of our lives that we shut out.
And a longing for connection.
My mom was definitely really angry about a lot of it, which is one of the reasons why she didn't let us talk to him or see him a lot.
Amachi has given Jehana the language and the confidence to say the things that remained hidden and unspoken for so long.
Well, because I've honestly only been actually talking about my father's incarceration for maybe 2 years. So I feel like, to me at least, the wound is still pretty fresh.
It's for us to invite children and family members to the table to find out what they need. They see that their voice matters, that their stories matter, and that people want to listen to them and learn from them.
Amachi made me realize that I have a voice, and this is just one of the ways to use it. It just hurts to think about the times that he wasn't there and to think about how much it actually affected me, because I still don't think that it does, but then times like this happen and I end up crying about it. The wound is still pretty fresh. I feel like it'll take a lot of time for me to I'll never get over it, because those were vital periods in my life that he wasn't there, but I'm working towards it.
Okay. So
Michael Brown is your typical teenager, embarrassed that his mom is sharing baby pictures and wishing she wouldn't bring up that fight he had when he was 6.
And the little boy that he was fighting was like the community bully. And he's fighting hard, like they're punching each other, and Michael's punching with all his might. And he said, "Mom, that's because he said my dad's in jail."
It was the family's most vivid memory of the 10 years his father, Big Mike Brown, was in prison. Michael Jr. remembers the day the police took him away.
I know I saw like red and blue colors outside. We just take him outside the door, and that was it.
Those first months were hard for everyone.
When I first went to jail, that's when it really hit me. She was like, "He can't sleep. He can't sleep. He's waiting on you. He's looking out the window like, where's my dad at?"
And I just felt like it was missing something. Like someone wasn't there.
Although there is sadness in these stories, there can be healing and hope. The family stayed connected all those years, even when Big Mike was in federal prison in New Jersey.
I put the time and trailing to keep them connected to balance Michael out. I mean, it was a financial burden, but it was well worth it.
He's a compassionate child. He's a caring child. First and foremost, I want him to stay alive. I didn't want nobody to do something to him trying to get at me because of my last lifestyle. You know what I mean? So all my concern was just be alive. Stay alive. Stay alive.
That childhood fight was a turning point for Michael.
So I told him, I said, understand this. Don't you ever be embarrassed about your father being in jail.
But when I talked to him, I always told him, be better than me. Don't do what I do. Be better than me. You're better than me.
But if your family can keep you out of trouble, like people that really care about you, good friends, keep you out of trouble, then you have a chance of not going there.
Do you remember that day when he came home?
Yeah, I was happy about it. It was just great. We had to celebrate and everything.
Not long after that, Michael's parents got married.
They finally taught the knot.
Michael graduated from high school with honors. He'd like to go to college, maybe to study art or design. For now, he sleeps well each night, knowing his dad is at home. It turns out his family was stronger than the bars that separated them.
I was still able to be a major figure in his life.
Do you think that kept him alive?
She kept him alive. That's what I tell her, that you kept my son alive. Thank you. Yeah.
For every mom or dad serving time, there is someone back at home filling the empty space. This story has plenty of heroes: grandmothers, single parents, and the children themselves.
They want to still be in your life, so don't just push them out the way and let them try to be the best they could be from where they're at.
Everything is going to be okay at some point in their life, because I know I didn't think my life was going to be okay at first either, but now look where I am.
There are kids all over this country and in this world who are in the same shoes of you. So connect with them, talk to them, and remember that you're not alone.
The children of prisoners are no different from any other children. They deserve love and guidance and family.
You're a really remarkable man.
I try my best, but my dad makes sure that I am.
Gonna be your grandma this weekend, right?
Yeah, we couldn't come this month, but my grandma said we were gonna come next month.
All right, I love you and I'll talk to you again, Chucky.
Okay, love you too.